more people should be saying no to your offer. And I know how that sounds, especially when a client saying no already ruins your day. And something happens when a client says no. Your brain automatically goes somewhere to start telling yourself things like, well, I should have offered it for less. I got too greedy. I got too big for my boots. And then next time I will offer it for less. Or maybe the market has shifted now that people don't want to pay for this service. Maybe businesses don't have as much money as they had last year, 2 years ago. And you can see how this creates a domino effect on what you offer the next time. And none of this is actually true, but it doesn't matter because you're in a state of spiraling now. You're not thinking straight. You've been affected by a no. And this gets me thinking about the way we treat yes and no as self-employed people. We think yes means something good is happening, it's positive, and no means that something is wrong that we need to fix. And most advice tells you to plug that gap, fix it with getting better at selling, making your offer irresistible, learn to close. Now, if that comes naturally to you, maybe that can work. But my personal feeling on this is the one thing people hate now is being sold to, being that in that situation where they feel like they're being sold to. I don't know if you get cold callers either to your door or on the phone. To your door is the worst because it's face to face. But I just seize up when I see cold callers walking around because I know that blatantly all they want to do is to sell to me. They want me to give them my bank details so that I sign up for a new electricity package or a charity or whatever it might be. And I just hate the scripts that they follow and the way that they make you feel almost uncomfortable to the point where they want you to give in. And I really don't like it now. And I just ignore them all the time, even though I don't mind giving money to charity or changing my electricity package if it makes sense. This is the problem, I think, with hard selling and trying to be better at closing, especially when it doesn't come naturally to you. If a no feels bad, you're going to do anything to avoid it. So without noticing it, you actually start changing your offer and pricing for safety. Now, a few weeks ago, I was writing a proposal for one of the biggest clients I've ever spoken to. I had a call with them and then they asked for a quote. And I caught myself doing this. I thought it was a really good deal. It'd be a really good company to work with. So I was knocking down the price of what I would naturally feel like was a fair price for me and for them. And I was adding things in for free and I was trying to be flexible before anyone had really even asked me to. So I wasn't thinking about what I wanted to offer, what made sense for me at this moment in my business. I was thinking about what they wanted to hear and how I needed this to be a yes. So at that point, I closed the laptop when I recognized this and thought I'd come back to creating the proposal the next day. So when I came back the next day, I saw it differently. I saw how I was trying to get this yes. So I asked myself a different question. What would this offer need to look like for me to be genuinely okay with a no? Because that starts to change the price. It also starts to change the scope and the timeline, or whether this is even the right client to work with. Because here's the flip. If the prospect says no to that offer, it doesn't mean the offer was wrong. It doesn't mean you overpriced. It just means that there wasn't a version that worked for both of us in this time. And that was a much more comfortable place to be in. So as of recording this, they still haven't given me an answer. My instinct is that it is going to be a no, but I'm genuinely okay with that because I built the offer in that sweet spot of a yes is good. It's going to be a lot of work, but I've priced accordingly for it. And a no is okay too, because it's going to be a lot of work. And anything less, I just resent, and it just wouldn't work for how I operate on my timeline. So it's just not a right fit for them, for both of us. So I think a few months ago, I would have dealt with it very differently. I would have been refreshing my email, hoping for them to come back and building a story out of the silence, because they have been a little bit silent with it all, which is why my instinct is that they will say no. Well, I would have been desperate to know which way it was going to go. And right now, well, it doesn't really matter. And even if they ghost me, well, it's just a no. It's fine. Because I built the offer that I believe in, and it's made me see things differently. That the weight that we put on yes and no can really change how we show up. And I think it'll show up on calls as well. Because if you're on a call with a client, and like I say, first of all, if you're hard selling, I think that makes people uncomfortable, or the vast majority of people. But then also, if you're desperate for a yes, I think they can read that. I can read that because I hire sometimes, and I can read when people show up and they just seem really keen. Like, I've had people slash their prices by 50% when I've said no to a price, and then they'll go, "Well, what would your budget might be?" And I'll tell them my budget, and they'll go, "Oh, well, I'll do it for that." And it's like, that just doesn't add up to me. I don't know how you can go from this price to a completely slash price. Tells me all they wanted to do was get the yes, and that actually, are they going to put the love into the work when they've slashed their rates by 50%? I don't think so. So putting the equal weight on yes and no, building offers that get you to a place of I'm okay with a yes and I'm okay with a no, is a bit of a game changer, because you start to show up from a natural space of where you feel is the right offer for you and not the right offer for the person you're speaking to. Quiet periods are particularly dangerous, because that's when you start to spiral. That's when the voice in your head gets really loud and saying you need to do something, you need to change something, you need to get a new client. And then you can see how that leads to like ridiculous offers just to chase the yes. So from now on, when I send a proposal, I always ask myself this: if this comes back with a no, will I be okay with it? Will I be content or even happy with it? Because a no and rejection will create a story. And unless you notice it, that story is going to write how you quote the next time and the next time and the next time.